Good afternoon and thank you so much for joining us here on Channel 1 Lunchtime News on this 9th day of May 2018. My name is Brenda Zedaradido and a sign language interpreter on the bottom right of your screen is Lucy Mora. Lucy, welcome to our lunchtime program. All right, to begin our lunchtime bulletin with a 3-day state visit by Djibouti President Ismail Omar, who is in the country for a 3-day state visit geared towards bolstering existing bilateral relations between Kenya and Djibouti. Now, during his visit in the country, the Djibouti leader and President Uhuru Kenyatta are expected to hold bilateral talks focusing, among others, on cooperation in trade, livestock management, vocational training, promotion and protection of investment, as well as exemption of visa for holders of diplomatic and service passports. That is a story that we shall be giving you later on. It is among some of our top stories here. But before we get to that story, let's focus on the latest update concerning floods in the country and pain and anguish characterize victims of ongoing floods as the effects of the torrential rains continue to be felt across the country. Now, residents of Tana River and Kilifi counties have been forced to seek safe havens in schools and camps after their homes were completely submerged by floods.
As the heavy downpour continues to wreak havoc in parts of the country, hundreds of residents from Tana River and Kilifi counties have been forced to move into nearby schools and camps for safety following continued heavy downpour. 80% of Tana Delta and nearby areas within Tana River County has been completely marooned by floods, with farmers living around River Tana counting massive losses after their crops were completely washed away by flood waters.
Shule 17 haijafunguliwa. Shule zote zimeenda na maji. Wakazi wengi wameondoka. Wengi ni IDPs.
We have distributed non-food items to over 5,000 households in Tana River alone. Again, this translates to only probably 50% or 40 to 50% of the families affected, meaning that we need more people to come.
It's very unfortunate that safety net for the communities was not there, and that was not well established. I think the emergency situation of the country is so dire that it seems to be forgotten. The floods are so much. The water is in plenty but cannot be used. They cannot be used because they're contaminated water.
The situation, which remains dire in the coast region, has rendered 64,045 people displaced or cut off by the disaster in Tana River County, 21,318 in Kilifi County, while 16,800 people have been left homeless in Taita Taveta County and 2,498 people in Lamu County. Donating over 10 tons of relief food to the county government of Kilifi and Kenya Red Cross Society, the business community in Malindi urged the government to ensure that those affected are supplemented with food rations for the next 4 months.
I've decided to take this seriously and to donate food to the people, because we know that this is the most important things when you are in the situation of pain and disaster like it has happened because of the heavy rain.
So sana na tunaomba pia wafadhili zaidi waje watusaidie ili tuweze kupata kusaidia hizi familia ambazo zimeathirika.
Kilifi County Executive in charge of tourism, Nahid Athman, saying that the county government cannot contain the situation and they need assistance from well wishers.
Kwa kweli hali hairidhishi kamwe, lakini kwa juhudi zimetokea kwa pande fulani, pande mwingi sana, kama vile county government tumejizatiti kuhakikisha kwa wakati wamepatiana hili janga tumewapatia chakula. Pia organizations tofauti pia zimesaidia kama vile Red Cross, kama vile wafadhili tumepata, kama leo hii Billionaires Club wametusaidia pia, lakini haitoshi, maana wale waliopatikana na hili janga watahitaji msaada zaidi ili waweze kujikimu katika siku zijazo.
The heavy rainfall being experienced over the coastal region is expected to continue for the next 3 days, according to the Kenya Meteorological Department. Heavy rainfall of more than 50 millimeter in 24 hours is expected offshore and in all counties along the coastal strip. The flooding situation may worsen in some parts of the coast due to the fact that a lot of water has been accumulating on the ground since Monday. Linus Moshigadi for Lunchtime News. Linus Moshigadi for Channel 1 News.
All right, let's head to one of the top stories, and that is Djibouti President Ismail Omar Guelleh is in the country for a 3-day state visit geared towards bolstering existing bilateral relations between Kenya and Djibouti. Now, during his visit in the country, the Djibouti leader and President Uhuru Kenyatta are expected to hold bilateral talks focusing, among others, on cooperation in trade, livestock management, vocational training, promotion and protection of investment, as well as the exception of visa for holders of diplomatic and service passports. President Uhuru Kenyatta Wednesday morning welcomed Djibouti President Ismail Omar Guelleh to State House Nairobi with an elaborate state reception complete with a 21-gun salute. President Guelleh, who is on a 3-day state visit, arrived in State House shortly after 10 a.m. and was received by his host, President Kenyatta. The Djibouti leader then inspected a guard of honor mounted by a detachment of the Kenya Air Force. This is the second state visit within the week after President Kenyatta hosted Ethiopian Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed Ali on Monday. President Kenyatta and the Djibouti leader will hold bilateral talks whose focus will be cooperation in trade, livestock management, vocational training, promotion and protection of investment and exemption of visa for holders of diplomatic and service passports. Additional areas of discussion between the two leaders include partnership in the tourism sector, geothermal energy, expansion of bilateral trade and investment, collaboration in the air transport sector by increasing Kenya Airways passenger flights to Djibouti and introduction of cargo flights through which the two nations can increase volume of trade in assorted agricultural products including coffee and tea, among others. Kenya's exports to Djibouti include petroleum, bioautonomous products, tea and soap. Brenda Zederadido, Channel 1 Lunchtime News. All right, to cross over to Migori County, where demarcation and reaffirmation of the Kenya-Tanzania common border is almost complete, with the Joint Technical Committee undertaking the review, expressing satisfaction in the exercise. Now, the exercise that kicked off in March seeks to reaffirm the 760 kilometers international boundary for the first time since the two East African neighbors gained their independence.
It was a joint exercise by the two neighbors to trace the pillars erected along their common border by their colonial masters with the aim of demarcating them afresh. A joint technical committee with representation drawn from the two countries saying the exercise will not jeopardize the unity of the two countries. Nyanza Regional Commissioner Moffat Kangi, who doubles up as the chair of the Kenyan delegation, saying that the team has to manage to sum out challenges encountered during the identification and remarking exercise, sentiments shared by his Tanzanian counterpart James Mtakamaya.
I can confirm to you that we have had very good cooperation between ourselves as officers from Tanzania and Kenya. We have had a very good relationship in terms of technical interpretation of all the data that has enabled us to continually place the pillars in accordance with the data that is supposed to be used.
Kenya and Tanzania are friends and remain to be good friends. And normally what's being done at the time being, this is a continuous process. The first step is for us to define the boundary the way it is. And then at the second step, there will be another group as per guidance of our top officials to look on the affected people and put down the recommendation and bring it back to the senior authorities. They're the one who will make a decision what should be done to such people.
The team has already finalized the demarcating the Muhuru-Isibania international border with reaffirmation of the Isibania Lake Natron underway. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I'm Kaltun Jama.
Now, County Governor Samuel Tunai has called for a change of tack to help eradicate early pregnancy and marriages among girls in the county. Tunai says many school-going girls are becoming mothers, complicating their chances of getting the much-needed education.
Each MCA, it's a 1 million.
Governor Tunai was at the Maasai Girls High School where he launched a 45 million shilling bursary fund that will help educate needy students in Narok County. Despite concerted efforts to keep girls in school, Narok County still leads the pack in early pregnancies.
Why should you be pregnant? Hiyo ni kitu ya zamani. We should not be having it in the 21st century. Ama namna gani walimu? Hii maneno I mean, you have better things to do.
Governor Tunai calling for an effective approach to help eradicate early pregnancy in the county, which has seen hundreds of girls cut short their studies.
I want to challenge you, ya kwamba we are sacrificing, and the only asante tunahitaji kwenyu ni kupita hiyo mtihani.
Tunai has in the meantime called for transparency in the disbursement of bursaries in the county to ensure it reaches the most deserving cases.
Now, the Kenya Medical Training College is set to align its strategies with the government's ambitious plans to rule out universal healthcare by 2022. The institution's board chairman, that is Professor Philip Kaloki, who was in Kitui, says a number of changes will be done to ensure that graduates from the institution are able to match the needs of the country moving forward.
According to Kenya Medical Training College National Board Chairman Professor Philip Kaloki, plans for the improvement of curriculum and infrastructure in the 65 medical schools in the country is underway. Speaking during a tour of KMTC Mwingi, Kaloki said the changes are set to align the competence of the medical practitioners who go through the institution with the national government program of rolling out universal healthcare by 2022.
To train our students, because 85% of all the health workers in the country, they go through Kenya Medical Training College. And we want also to ensure to have continuous improvement of our curriculum, continuous improvement of our teaching methods, and especially also to ensure that by 2022, the campus or the KMTC and all the 65 campuses we have in the country will be prepared.
Kaloki termed the issue of barring hijabs in the institution as small, which has since been solved by the institution administration, as KMTC does not discriminate anyone based on religion.
They are ready to adjust. They are ready to do their work. We brought them here at KMTC, and that is to do the studies and pass examinations. And so they are responsive to that. They understand their mandate very well, and also we must also respect their faith.
His remarks were echoed by KMTC Chief Executive Officer Professor Michael Kipto, who stated that since its inception, Mwingi KMTC has grown to a population of more than 300 students from the entire country. He added that major developments will be done to improve all the medical colleges in Kenya to enable them produce qualified nurses.
Now, meanwhile, public agencies in both the county and national governments have been challenged to ensure free flow of information to citizens if they are to achieve effective service delivery. The Director of Advocacy in the Office of Ombudsman, that is Sami Chiboy, claims the trend by public agencies to withhold relevant information from members of the public had created unnecessary suspicion among the citizenry who are supposed to benefit from such services.
It was during this sensitization forum of members of the public by the Commission on Administrative Justice in Iten Elgeyo Marakwet that the officials called on public agencies in both county and national government to readily avail information to members of the public to enhance service delivery as a requirement by law. The officers said withholding any public information was not only in contravention of Access to Information Act of 2016 that requires public and private entities to protectively disclose information, but also creates mistrust in the agencies. They faulted Career Valley Development Authority for not fully disclosing to locals the benefits of a 63 billion shillings hydroelectric and irrigation project, something that has fueled bad blood between the organization and the locals. Rose Gekwa for Channel 1, Lunchtime.
All right, 13 minutes past 1 p.m. here on Channel 1 Lunchtime News. Allow me to take a short breather, but we still have a lot lined up for you when it comes to sports and business later on with Carol Njenga.
Unaweza fanya nini kwa dakika 4? Na mega dola. Unaweza piga chef? Na mega dola. Kila kitu ni mega. Unaweza pika ugali? Na mega dola. Pesa hapa ni mega. Na mega dola. Labda unaweza fua nguo? Ni mega. Na mega dola. Ama unaweza tengeneza milioni 30. 4 minutes are enough to win big with Mega Dollar. Just go to Lipa na M-Pesa, select Pay Bill, enter business number 295888, enter account name KBC, deposit 10 shillings or more, enter your PIN and press OK, then choose 10 numbers from 1 to 80 and send to 29588. And you can win up to 30 million shillings every 4 minutes. Deposit, play, and win with Mega Dollar. The big game for big winners. Tarehe ni 12 mwezi Mei mwaka huu katika ukumbi wa Carnival. KBC Radio Taifa inakuletea Pwani Night. Pata raha kwa miziki ya kipwani. Karembo 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 karembo. Kipenzi nakuona kama zawadi. Vyakula vya kipwani na msisimko wa kipekee. Ungana na watangazaji wote wa Radio Taifa katika tamasha hili la kukata na shoka. Pwani Night, mambo kipwani pwani, fika mwenyewe, usingojee kuhadithiwa.
Welcome back, and thank you for keeping it Channel 1 Lunchtime News. And you cross over to Rift Valley to talk about matters politics, where a section of elders drawn from that region have endorsed Baringo Senator Gideon Moi for presidency in 2022 in a move that is bound to alter the region's political matrix. The group maintained that the KANU chairman has a right to seek any elected position in the country, even as they castigated key allies of Deputy President William Ruto over constant political attacks targeted at the Baringo senator.
Kukaribisha na kusema pole.
The deep-seated political differences between Deputy President William Ruto and Baringo Senator Gideon Moi played out in the open yet again when they shared a platform during the burial of the late Baringo South MP Grace Kipchohim. Even though the Deputy President shied away from politics, his political ally sharply criticized the KANU chairman for allegedly undermining Ruto's bid for the country's top seat in 2022.
Mkitaka siku nyingine mkue kitu kingine, Biblia inasema asiyekubali kuongozwa hawezi ongoza. Let us all accept tuongozwe na watu wengine, ndio siku nyingine sisi pia tuweze tukapata nafasi ya kuongoza.
Gideon Moi is my friend. He has never told me, first of all, anataka kuwa president. So mimi sijui yeye ni host gani ama ni nini, because I don't understand. Hajaniambia.
Sasa kuna vile mama alichora mafuta ya Esau ikaenda na Jacob. Na Esau akaanza kulia, hii mafuta ilikuwa yangu. Lakini alikuwa shachelewa. Mimi najua mnajua vile nimesema.
These accusations appear to have galvanized Gideon Moi supporters in the Rift Valley. A section of elders drawn from Uasin Gishu, Nandi and Elgeyo Marakwet counties absolved Moi from all accusations leveled against him, insisting that he also has a right to pursue his political ambitions.
Na kama watu ya Kenya wanapendekeza kwamba Gideon Moi anaweza kuwania kiti ya urais katika uchaguzi ijayo ambayo itakuja mwaka wa 2022, hakuna mtu yeyote anaweza kuzuia yeye, isipokuwa tu ni Wakenya wataamua ni nani atakuwa kiongozi hao.
Kila mmoja ako na haki ya kuomba hii kiti ya urais. Ruto ako na haki, Gideon ako na haki, na wananchi wa Kenya ndio wataamua. na Gideon ako na wafuasi. Isemekane katika mkoa wa Rift Valley, Gideon ana wafuasi.
The elders who were speaking in Eldoret Town went ahead and endorsed him for the country's top seat in 2022.
Sisi tunaunga mkono Mheshimiwa Senator wa Baringo Gideon Moi kwa kusimama kwake kusema anataka hiyo kiti ya urais. Tunaunga mkono.
The elders further charged that it was in bad taste to accuse the Baringo senator of blocking the deputy president from seeing retired President Daniel Arap Moi.
Ningependa kusema kutembelea rais mstaafu ni wazi. Hakuna mtu amefunga mlango. Ijapokuwa lazima taratibu ya sheria ya kuomba nafasi kupitia njia ambayo imepangwa.
President amekuwa na wakati kutoka mwaka 2003 tangu rais mstaafu astaafu. Yeye mwenyewe hajawahi kupanga hata kongamano moja kumwambia rais mstaafu asante kwa kazi ya kufanyia Wakalenjin, kwa kazi ya kufanyia yeye mwenyewe.
Eric Biegon reporting for Channel 1 News.
All right, to the corridors of justice, where East African Legislative Assembly Member of Parliament Simon Bugwa and 2 other suspects have been arraigned in court and charged with robbery with violence. Appearing before Nairobi Magistrate Martha Mutuku, Simon Bugwa alongside Anthony Otieno Ombok, alias Jamal, and Benjamin Odhiambo Onyango denied accusations, I beg your pardon, of attacking former Nairobi Central Business District official Timothy Muriuki. The 3 are awaiting ruling on their bail application this afternoon.
After spending the night at the Central Police Station in Nairobi, Iyala MP Simon Bugwa alongside Anthony Otieno Ombok, alias Jamal, and Benjamin Odhiambo Onyango appeared at the Milimani Law Court to answer to charges over the recent attack on former Nairobi Central Business District official Timothy Muriuki. The 3 who were arrested on Tuesday were charged with robbery with violence. According to prosecution, the 3 robbed Muriuki of 100,000 shillings on the 30th of April at Boulevard Hotel in Nairobi. They denied the charges before Nairobi Magistrate Martha Mutuku and pleaded with the court to be released on bail. The court will rule on their bail application later in the afternoon after the prosecution applied to have them released on harsh terms, arguing that 5 of their accomplices are still on the run.
Let's cross over to the international scene, and 17 people have been declared dead after an Ebola outbreak in the northwest of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Health officials on Tuesday confirmed 2 cases of the deadly virus in the town of Bikoro.
Congo's health officials have confirmed 17 deaths from the Ebola outbreak. This is the 9th time an Ebola outbreak has been recorded in the DR Congo. The incident in the town of Bikoro comes more than a year after an outbreak in the country killed 4 people. The outbreak was declared after laboratory results confirmed 2 cases of Ebola out of a sample of 5 suspected patients in the town. The tests were carried out after 21 patients displayed signs of hemorrhagic fever in the area. The ministry has described this outbreak as a public health emergency with international impact. In 2014, more than 11,000 people were killed in Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. The World Health Organization will be giving $1 million to Congo and will send a team of experts to Bikoro to help contain the virus. The virus was first discovered there in 1976 and was named after the Ebola River.
European powers say they are committed to Iran nuclear deal after President Donald Trump announced the United States was withdrawing from the agreement. The United Kingdom, France and Germany asked the U.S. not to obstruct its implementation, saying they would work with the other signatories to the 2015 deal. Russia and China, which have stressed continuing support for the accord.
Following the unprecedented move by the U.S., Iran said it would restart uranium enrichment if the agreement could not be salvaged. In a statement, President Hassan Rouhani has ordered his foreign ministry to negotiate with the European countries, China and Russia in the coming weeks. There were furious scenes in the Iranian parliament with members burning an American flag and the speaker reportedly claiming Trump lacked mental capacity. The so-called Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action curbed Iran's nuclear activities in return for the lifting of sanctions that had been imposed by the UN, US and EU. Trump said he was reimposing economic sanctions that were waived when the deal was signed in 2015. The US Treasury said the sanctions would target industries mentioned in the deal, including Iran's oil sector, aircraft manufacturers exporting to Iran, and Iranian government attempts to buy US dollar banknotes. The French Foreign Minister, Jean-Yves Le Drian, insisted the deal was not dead and said there would be a meeting between France, Britain, Germany and Iran on Monday.